We're going to learn a little bit. Yeah. I am so glad that you're here and just welcome. And not only here at our local site here in Atlanta, but we are on 300 sites in 30 countries. And I just got to take a moment to tell you, I'm really proud. I'm really proud about this leader cast, and I'm glad you're here at L2. But I'm really proud because 3 years ago, I started a John Maxwell team of coaches. And we have coaches, 300 of them around the world hosting this site today. And I'm so proud of my coaches because they're learning how to lead, they're learning how to teach, they're learning how to help people in corporate life. And I'm just really proud. So would you do me a favor, because I'm ready to teach because we really want to learn a lot. But would you just, let's give a hand to the John Maxwell team and the coaches. They're at all of our simulcast sites today. Give them a hand. They're just beautiful people. Wow. And I am so glad you're here. I want to talk to you right now about the key that unlocks the door to success. And I'm excited because this is going to really be life-changing for some of you, okay? So I want you to look at your neighbor and I want you to tell them, take really good notes because this is going to help you, okay? This is going to help you, okay? Okay. Now hang on. Some of you have gone way beyond what I asked you to do. Some of you, you're just now really enjoying the whole issue. Let me tell you some other keys that you need to have in your life. Because there's a key that I want to talk about today, and it's from my latest book, Good Leader Questions. And the key to unlock the door to success, the key is called questions. And the better doors of opportunity you unlock. And I'm committed today, along with Tim and Linda, our other speakers. I'm so excited to have this all-star team with me today. We are committed to your success, and I am committed to talking to you about how to ask the right questions and questions you need to ask yourself, which will be in another session. And in this session, I want to talk to you about the value of questions. Because this is so huge in our lives that when we begin to understand what questions will do for us and the value in return we get from them, we're going to become committed to asking questions. When you think of leadership, you think of direction, you think of vision, you think of somebody pointing the way and saying, this is the way I want you to go. Isn't that true? But what I want you to understand today is behind every vision that is cast, behind every pointed finger that gives a direction and saying, let's go this way, behind all of that impetus of leadership are good questions. In fact, I've been asking questions. I learned the value of questions 35 years ago. I've been asking questions all my life, and I came to a point where about 2 years ago, I said, I've got to write a book on questions. I got to help people really learn to ask the right questions because it's the key to success. And so my newest book that just came out 2 days ago, Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. And by the way, people ask me, what is the favorite book you've always written? My favorite book is the book that's just been released, okay? So out of all the 74 books that I've ever read, this is my favorite book, okay? Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. And this book is going to help you really understand how to lead by asking questions. In fact, the latter part of the book is a reference book, literally, because I do Q&A all the time. There are hundreds of questions on leadership that I answer in the back of the book, and it'll be a reference book in leadership. But the first chapter is what I want to talk to you about today, because I want to talk to you about the value of questions. I have a rule of 5. And my rule of 5 is something that I do every day. And I don't have time to teach the rule of 5, but basically the rule of 5 says, you need to know what your strength is, and when you know what your strength is, you need to do 5 things every day that will take that strength and make it greater. And in my rule of 5, one of my things I do every day is every day I ask questions. I was in Las Vegas recently, and I was getting ready to do a conference with Jim Collins, and we hadn't seen each other for some time. And so we sat down for lunch, and I'll get this lunch. We sat down, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, asking each other a question at the same time. And he stopped. He said, John, I know what this is going to be all about. He said, we're going to want to ask each other questions. I said, that's all I want to do. I've got a whole list of questions to ask you. And he said, but he said, I got in the conversation just a moment before you did, so I get asked the first question, and so I said, okay, you ask the first question, and he asked it, and I gave him a 3-word answer so I could get on to my questions. Because we understood one thing about the conversation: the person that gets to ask the most questions, the best questions, is the person that always wins. Because can I tell you something? I've never learned anything when I was giving direction, but I've learned everything when I ask questions. So let's talk about it. The first value of questions, I'm so excited about this, the first value of questions is you only get answers to questions you ask. You only get answers to questions you ask. If you don't ask the question, guess what? You don't get the answer. And I learned a long time ago, it's better to look uninformed than to be uninformed. I watch people all the time. They want to look good, so they're afraid, well, this question is kind of, this may be a stupid question. This may be a foolish question. I wonder what if I ask that question, what are they going to know? Are they going to know that I don't know something? How many of you have ever thought of a question you really wanted to ask, but you thought maybe it was a stupid question, and so you didn't ask it? Raise your hand. Today. Yeah, I've done that. In fact, let me tell you a story. I'm in my middle 20s, and I'm doing pretty good. I started off as a pastor, and I'm doing pretty good. And my church is really growing, and so I was invited to an event called Idea Exchange. And Idea Exchange was where pastors of large churches in America were coming together, and they were just doing questions, and they were talking about their experiences and their successes. And I'm the youngest kid by far. Most of them are in their 40s. I'm 25, 26 at that time. And I'm invited, and I'm way over my head, and I'm in tall timber, and I feel intimidated. And I went there, and there were a lot of questions I wanted to ask. And after this event was over, I got in my car, and I was very discouraged because guess what? I didn't ask one question. And I didn't ask one question because I looked at all of them, and I saw they were so much better and faster and more experienced and more successful. And I looked at myself, and I said, I'm not in their league. And so I kept quiet. And then all of a sudden, I was going home. I realized something. I had cheated myself. And here's what I want you to understand. When you want to look good and are afraid to ask a question, the only person that lost was you. You cheated yourself. And then I said, I'm never going to go back to any event, at any time, at any place, with anyone, and not ask the questions that I really want to ask. And I could list 18 minutes, times when I boldly asked a question, got the courage, and it totally changed. I'm saying to every one of you listening here, and all of you on the simulcast, what I'm saying, you are perhaps one question away from an answer that you need that make a difference in your life. So would you look at your neighbor and say to them, you're one question away.